What's up, fellow YouTubers? So, how would you like to smell irresistible for the ladies? Well, in the description box below, I'm going to provide my affiliate link, which when you click on that link and you buy tactical soap from Grondike Soap Company through my affiliate link, and if you use coupon code KINGCOBRA, that's KINGCOB to the R to the A. Use coupon code KINGCOBRA and you literally get 10% off your order. That helps me as an affiliate and that helps save you a couple bucks. Now, tactical soap is guaranteed to make you smell irresistible for the ladies. Yeah. Yeah, how much money would you spend on pheromone cologne? I've seen pheromone cologne that goes for 200 bucks a bottle. Okay? When tactical soap, one bar is going to cost you $11.05 altogether. That's with shipping included. But 10% off your order, coupon code KINGCOBRA. I don't have to get laid to know it works. Okay, tactical soap does not guarantee you'll get laid, but it does guarantee you'll smell good for any woman you walk by. It's like having a wingman on your skin. Maybe you get some, shower with it, and then you come home and your wife will be sitting there, you know, your wife comes home, whatever. Are you wearing some kind of cologne? Whatever you're wearing smells really good, guarantee it. Have your wife looking at you like she did the first time she fell in love with you. That is a fact, Jack. I've seen pheromone products that don't work at all. Like they leave you smelling good, but they don't actually, you know. Tactical soap works. Believe me. And this is a point I made on my Facebook Live video, is that, you know, it doesn't guarantee you'll get laid, but it does guarantee you'll smell good to any woman you walk by. I personally love Bond. That's my favorite scent. I have yet to buy a bar of Bond Musk and see how it do. But when I get my YouTube money, I'm going to buy some more tactical soap. Yeah, buddy. But I tell you what, YouTube, it never gets old. I'll walk by some chicks at the bar, or just walk by some chicks walking downtown. Ooh, that goth cowboy smells good. Like, you go from meh to every chick thinks you smell good. How much money, fellas, would you pay for a product that made you smell good to every chick you walk by? I'm just saying. And the best part of it is tactical soap is made in the good old US of A. And it's all natural, baby. Yeah. So, like, I can't tell you how many dudes I've convinced to buy the soap because they're like, you know what I'm saying? They'll be sitting there having a drink. They'll be sitting there having a drink with their buddies, and then they see me walking. They're like, "Oh, hey, it's King Cobra JFS." A little bit of a local Casper celebrity. I heard he wears tactical soap. Watch me walk by a bunch of chicks, and then they hear the comments chicks make afterwards, and then they're like, "Dude, I am sold. I am so buying some of that when I get paid." Yeah, tactical soap will have you smelling like a stud in no time. Time to man up, fellas, and get yourself some tactical soap. Why is it called tactical soap? Because all is fair in love and war. And for years, women have had the tactical advantage for seduction. Like, women don't even need pheromone products to attract the opposite sex. That's the sad truth of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all they gotta do is fucking show up to the bar. All they gotta do is show up to the bar. And that's it. If the guy likes what they're laying down, he'll buy her a drink. For years, men have been trying to smell irresistible to women. For years. And now, us fellas finally have a product from the wonderful people over at Grondike Soap Company selling their amazing tactical soap. It's a company out in North Carolina, and they have 4 amazing scents to choose from: Bond, Maverick, Durban, and Bond Musk. They also have pheromone beard oil. So if you're rocking a beard and you want some pheromone beard oil, they got you on that too, dude. So I will put the link to my affiliate in the description box below. This helps me make money, and this helps you smell good for the ladies. I mean, come on. You smell good for the ladies. I smell good for the ladies. I get to make money. You get to smell good for the ladies. That means both parties in that situation are benefiting. Just thought I'd give them a plug real quick because tactical soap rocks. Show do. Anyways, the lovely Sydney Watson made a video. Now, if you follow me on YouTube, then you already know. I already uploaded a rant that I made last night before going to bed, and thank Lucifer it uploaded, because I exposed YouTube's hypocrisy and their censorship when it comes to quote-unquote violating sexual content on YouTube. But that rant was insightful in its own. Now we're going to move on to self-segregation. Too many white people, the rise of self-segregation and anti-white racism. Oh my. And now, oh wait, this is going to be hard to respond to, because if you got a white person complaining about racism, you get called a bigot and say, well, you weren't sprayed with fire hoses peacefully protesting, so you don't get to bitch. And my response to that is, that's a fair point, but hear me out. If you take the word racism and you break it down, you take out the ism, you have the word race. And the sad truth of it is racism happens to every race in some form or another. And the first time I saw this video, I was like, oh hell yeah, Sydney Watson, new video, sweet. And then, after hearing what the video was about, after the first minute and 19 seconds in, I was like, okay, hold up. I paused the video. I reach into my piggy bank. I dig out enough coin for a beer at the liquor store. I then go to the liquor store, I get a beer, I come back, I sit down, crack it open, finish watching the Sydney Watson video, and I'm like, oh, the society we live in. We live in a society now where white people are being blamed for everything. For climate change, for Donald Trump, for racism, for sexism. Instead of taking responsibility for our own decisions and being like, you know what, racism and sexism collectively comes from everybody because, you know, it involves both genders and every race. That's why it's called sexism, because you break down, again, you take the word ism out of it and you have the word sex, meaning gender, which means, oh look, hey, sexism involves both genders because you take out the word ism. Okay, racism involves all races. You take the word ism out, and again, you see a correlation here. Like, society is what I would call exhausting at times. It's the kind of shit, YouTube, that makes you want to smoke and drink, because now we got, you know, racism happening to whiteys now. these honkies, these crackers. Sir, I prefer the term saltine American, and yes, we do like cheese. Do you identify as saltine American? Oh, God damn it. You know, you're going to hear a term in this video called people of color. The term is referring to African Americans. However, as I sit here, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on that. I think we're all colors, man. Each and every last one of us is a different color. So, you know, I think the term people of color is a segregated term. I think it's outdated. Considering we're all colors, man. We got whites, blacks, tans, yellow, somewhere in between. And then you got orange skin. So, you know, we got everything in between. So the way I see it, we're all color, man. We're all colors. And the thing of it is, the best part of it, we're all humans. So, like, if you cut someone, they bleed red blood. Everyone bleeds red blood. That being said, shouldn't that unite us? Like, if you don't like the person, then ignore them. You know? But this video has a lot of good points in it by Sydney Watson, so we're going to watch it. And here we go. I'm going to full screen it. I've had a day to process the information that was given in this video, and it's just like...
So I guess then everything today is racist.
Intro music.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to my channel. Now, all of us know that university campuses are a breeding ground for stupids. And I would know, seeing as I went to one for absolutely way too long. It was awful. I wouldn't recommend it. And weirdly enough, despite the fact that campuses try so hard to eliminate racism, for some reason they've inadvertently become breeding grounds for it.
Every time you see racism in this video, you want to make a fun drinking game out of this motherfucker? I guarantee you, you'll be so fucking drunk by the end of these 12 minutes. By the end of these 12 minutes and some odd seconds, you're going to be drunk by the end of this video. I guarantee it. Every time there's racism in this video, take a shot. Get some milk can moonshine and take a shot. Get a couple bottles of it, you know. And be like, let's have ourselves a drinking game. This will be fun. You know, one of my favorite drink combinations is Jack Daniel's whiskey mixed with milk can moonshine. Maybe a splash of Monster energy drink, green flavor. That's called liquid redneck. That shit's delicious. That's the drink that'll fuck you up. Don't say I didn't warn you. This takes your Jaeger bomb and goes, pfft, Jaeger bombs. Jaeger bombs. Yeah. You take some milk can moonshine and some Jack Daniel's whiskey and some green original Monster energy drink, and you mix the three of them into one cup. Between the excessive sugar and caffeine and the strong alcohol, that shit will punk you up. Yeah, it will. So let's get started. I might do that drink combo when I get my YouTube money. That actually sounds kind of good.
But recently, this video was taken at the University of Virginia.
Okay, so there was a student at the University of Virginia ranting and raving at a multicultural student center. Yeah. Basically what happens is a African American woman stands up in the middle of a multicultural student center and tells everyone this she's got a public service announcement and says, okay, this center's been open for like 4 days now, and there are like way too many white people in here. Y'all can go somewhere else. This is a big enough campus. And you're making it unsafe for a person of color and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, what? So apparently they make black snowflakes too. Okay, that's mean. You know, I'm not going to be a dick in this video if I can help it, but because you have to remember that, you know, the history of African American culture with racism in our country, and it's, dude, I don't even want to go down that route. The police brutalities, the lynching, assholes like the KKK, fuck the KKK. You know why the first part of it says coup? Because they're cuckoo. They're fucking nuts. They're Looney Tunes, man. Walking around in hoods. Like, ugh. But just because we have them, don't get it twisted. We have that with other groups too. There are actually black extremist groups like the KKK, only the difference is they actually hate whites instead of whites hating. Yeah. It's sad. All this fucking hatred in our world. It's sad. Now, there are some people out there who have those organizations that are fighting for racial equality without being a dick about it. Then you got those who are fighting for the same fight but being a dick about it. So then coincidentally, they all get grouped in the same category. So nobody really sees, you know, they just see a bunch of black dudes trying to be Muslim, and it's a real fucking mess, let me tell you. But wait till you hear this chick's video. Yeah, this chick in the state of University State.
And unsurprisingly, it resulted in a lot of backlash.
Public service announcement. Excuse me. If y'all didn't know, this is the MSC, and frankly, there's just too many white people in here, and this is a space for people of color.
Wait. What? Okay. Here we go. This black cunt stands up, and person of color, more like person of cunt, am I right? She stands up in the middle of a multicultural student center, keyword multicultural, meaning different cultures, and says, there's too many white people in here. Okay, I'm not trying to be mean, but this is bullshit. Okay, you're not the dean, you're not the headmaster, headmistress, or the principal, whatever. You know? You're not in charge, you're not a teacher, you're not a staff member, you're a student. Okay? If you have a problem with the white people hanging out in that multicultural, keyword multicultural, okay? If you have a problem with at Wafa Flaffa _flame, if you and your crew have a problem with hanging out at a center because there's too many white people, then go somewhere else. If they're not bothering you, they're not going out of their way to be racist towards you, then who fucking cares? It's a multicultural student center, which means if it's multi, meaning more than one, and you add the word cultural, which means different cultures, then there's going to be a mixture of people, not just blacks, but whites, Indians, Asians, and everyone. Oh yeah. This is what I mean by racism exists in every race. You take the word ism out of it, and it literally says race. But a racist black person, that's like a woman who complains about sexism that men deliver and then turn around and be sexist towards men. It's an oxymoron, isn't it?
So just be really cognizant of the space that you're taking up, because it does make some of us POCs uncomfortable when we...
Oh, here we go. Then she goes on to say, please be aware of how much space you're taking up because you're making us POCs feel uncomfortable. Oh my god, dude. They're making an outdated term sound trendy. SJWs. POCs. Oh. You know what? Can I be real? Can I be just real with you for a second, YouTube? I think the term person of color is supporting segregation, and I also think it's outdated. Because if you really think about it, we're all different colors, man. We're all people of color. You have whites, you have blacks, you have orange, tan, yellow, somewhere in between, you know. And I'm not trying to be racist here. I support racial and gender equality on my channel, 100,000%. I'm the biggest supporter of racial and gender equality. But when you get into these topics of racial and gender equality, you're going to run into those people. And much like women who are sexist towards men, when a black person or any other person is racist towards white people, it's just allowed. We live in a society where it's perfectly okay to be racist towards white people, and it's perfectly okay to blame them for everything. Climate change, Donald Trump, the problems in our society. Instead of being like, you know what, the problems come collectively from everyone doing their part to fuck with everybody. People are just huge jerks to each other for no reason other than it's humanity. And instead of taking responsibility, blame an individual. Real talk though, how would it feel for this lady? And this is the question, I'm going to ask a couple questions of this lady who's standing in the Multicultural Student Center at Virginia State College making this public service announcement. Okay? How would you feel if you went to the Multicultural Student Center and a white person told all you blacks to get out? You'd be offended. You would be like, excuse me? That's racist. So what gives you the right to do it to white people? As it is, the Multicultural Student Center. Okay? Is it called the People of Color Student Center? It's not. Huh. Well then. Second thing, and I agree with Sydney Watson on this. You look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches, and in a couple of his speeches, he talked about how we should not judge people based off of the color of their skin, but rather their actions. And how he had a dream where whites and blacks and everyone just got along. You know, I'm just saying. Another thing, how would your grandmother feel about this? Is what I'd ask this African American woman ranting and raving in a multicultural student center of all places. You know what your grandmother would say? Oh, child. People of color today have it so much better than I did growing up. I would have dreamed to have gone to college and gotten my degree. And again, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just being fair. Like, you know, and if you're uncomfortable with white people because of the history of the racism and slavery and what have you, then I got a little historical fact for you. Slavery has existed since the dawn of time. In fact, we've had white slaves too. It's called the Irish. But what do I know? And on top of that, some of the first people to be enslaved were the ancient Egyptians. So, but do you see Irish people going up to the people whose ancestors enslaved them going, "Ah, you're making me feel uncomfortable, you are. You little fucking shite. I fucking hate your guts, you little fucking wank." No, you don't. You really don't. I'm like, okay, if all these whiteys are making you feel uncomfortable, here's a thought, Sister Sledge. Why not drop out of Virginia State and then go to a community college that's predominantly black and shut the fuck up about it? Oh. Because as long as they're not harassing you, they have just as much right to be in that multicultural center as you do. You sitting there telling these whiteys they need to get out is no different than the white assholes back in the 60s telling black people, you have to sit in the back of the bus, you have to drink out of this water fountain, you have to use this certain bathroom. So really, there you go, there's that. Like, holy shit. We're like 57 seconds into the video and it's already like, oh geez. Because when I first saw this video, I had about 10 million things I wanted to say. But I'm like, if I'm going to make this response video, it has to be done right. Where it's not being too mean, but it's also being fair. What else does she have to say?
We see too many white people in here. It's only been open for 4 days. And frankly, there's the whole university for a lot of y'all to be at. And there's very few spaces for us. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Right there, she said, right when she made this public service announcement, at the time when she made this public service announcement, the Multicultural Student Center had been open for like 4 days. And she said, you know, y'all ain't giving us enough space, blah, 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 blah. There's like a whole university, y'all can go somewhere else. You're right. If you're offended by all these white people, go somewhere else. If they're not going out of their way to harass you, then who the fuck cares? Yep, snowflakes come in black too. Did you know that? Oh wee. Gotta have your safe space because the whiteys, ooh. And yet really grinds my gears. We had a half black president. He was half white, half black. So you would have thought, okay, you know what? That might have eased some of the racial tension in our country. We had him for 8 years. His name was Barack Obama. Okay, you thought for 1 second that, yeah, you know what? We got a half black president, so... But they're calling him black anyways. You know, who cares? You know, you thought that would have eased the tension. But it didn't. As soon as he left office, it got worse. Much, much worse. That's because I feel like society is going in a trend where everything's sexist, everything's racist, and everything's offensive. Oh, did you just breathe? Oh my God, that person was breathing near me. I'm so offended. Hashtag woke, hashtag I'm going to tweet about this. Oh my God, this asshole was breathing next to me and I was so offended by it. And when you live in a society like this, it's exhausting. How the fuck did a society growing up watching South Park become such huge pussies? I mean, Jesus Christ. This precious looking motherfucker. I made a movie reference, by the way. Because this chick looks like that one chick from that one movie, Precious. And she's sitting there. you know, with the attitude of hers, and it's just like, I'm just like, dude, no. Girl, you need some dick in your life. That's what you need. You need to find you a nice white male who's got a dick bigger than your last boyfriend's, who will treat you better than your last boyfriend. And then I guarantee you your opinion on white people will fucking change, huh? You call yourself a POC. You know what I'm saying? A true person of color would be like, you know what? My ancestors have had to face a lot of discrimination, so why would I discriminate against someone else? That's my personal take on it. You're not a person of color, you're a piece of cunt.
And then everyone clapped. But literally. The part of this that actually made me the most mad was the smugness on her face when she sat down.
Right? The smugness on her face as this piece of cunt sat down. And I wasn't the only one to call it like it is. You hear it in the video right towards the end. You hear one of the students shout across the room, "You're a cunt." And I'm like, fucking goddamn right. Who the fuck is she telling someone of a different race they can't hang out in the multicultural student center? Acting like that's their center because they're more superior. Because okay, let's Google something real quick. Let's do a little Googling, shall we? Yeah. This video I'm making is going to be called Screw Racism and Segregation. Because that's just the best way to call it, you know? Let's see. Racism.
Here's the definition of racism. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior.
Okay, so basically prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism. She did all three. She stood up, was being very prejudiced towards white people, and even though it's the multicultural student center in the Virginia State University, she decides to throw some discrimination their way by saying there's too many white people in here. And antagonism, using racial historical guilt to justify her causes, using her culture and trying to make everyone feel guilty. Okay, people today are not responsible for what people did 50, 60 years ago. And last time I checked, African Americans have a lot more rights than they've had in a long time. They're no longer picking cotton in the fields, humming a song or what have you. They're becoming presidents, they're becoming cops, they're becoming scientists. They're going to college to get degrees to make something of themselves. African Americans in this country have a lot more opportunity than they've had in the last 200 fucking years. But instead of being like, hey, that's awesome, you're going to stand up and be a racist cunt towards white people. And here's the best part of it. If I bitch about this shit, I get called a bigot. I do. Well, how is it racist if it happens to white people? That in itself is a racist statement. Real talk though, YouTube. What happens when a bunch of people get fucked with for too long? They protest. Of course, when black people got fucked with in the 50s and the 60s, they protested. They held up picket signs. And yeah, dude, straight up. But if white people try doing that shit today, you know what they call it? they would straight up call it a white supremacist march. They wouldn't call it a fight for racial equality. They'd call it a white supremacist march. Oh.
Just look at it. Look at that hair flip. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's overt racism. Obviously, videos like this get a lot of traction from both sides. On one hand, there are people who absolutely support this kind of message because they actually believe that the white population kind of just need to vacate life in general. On the other hand, there are people who are very quick to point out the hypocrisy of this subject.
Oh yeah, the hypocrisy of this subject is so thick it makes your head spin. Holy. 1 second, YouTube. I have this giant coffee mug. That's pretty fucking sweet. I wonder what I'm going to do with it. Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Yes. Now, one of my fans in Britain, one of my England fans sent me some tea from his side of the pond. So I'm going to drop this tea bag in here, bloop, like that. But that's not enough tea bags. Nope, we're gonna make a nice strong cup of tea and continue the video. I might need some, actually, yeah, just do this real quick, turn the light on so I can see better. Hold up. Let's see here. Oh, wait, oh, never mind, I see it now, okay. I'm all trying to find my tea stash, like, oh wait, try looking on the shelf above. So we're going to go ahead and just put like 4 tea bags in here. We already got one in the bottom. We got some Lipton, 100% all natural. Yeah. Go and just take the tag off and drop the bag in there. You know, I don't really have a teapot, but what I use is the microwave because, it's convenient. Well, if I want a big pot of tea, what I'll really do is I can even use my coffee percolator to make tea if I wanted. Just stuff the tea bags in your where your coffee grounds go, and same principle. The hot water percolates it and you get tea. There's a life hack for ya. Using the coffee percolator to make hot tea. Like, why have a pot separate for your tea when you could just use your big ass percolator to make it? I mean, really. If you think about it, tea bags and coffee filters are made from similar materials, so there you go. couple tea bags in there. All right, I want to add some water. We're going to microwave it. Now, okay, on some real talk though, if it would have been the person of color student center and she told him to get out, okay, that's fair because that's y'all's center. But it's not called that. It's a seriously, look this up. I'm not even joking with you, YouTube. It's a multicultural student center, and she's sitting there telling people of a different color, y'all need to get out. That's rich. Now we can have hot tea in an instant. Put it in on a powerful microwave. Put it in the powerful microwave for like 2 minutes, 34 seconds. Boom, it's done. We're about to have hot tea, smashing.
Overall. Because the fact is, had this been a white student telling black students to leave, the university probably would have burned down. It's kind of like the equivalent of being on Oprah, except that rather than getting gifts, you just get a riot.
No shit. I was just saying that too. If it would have been a white student telling black students to get out of a multicultural student center, we'd never hear the end of it. Real talk though, why is it that when white people are racist, we're so quick to point it out? But when everyone else is racist towards everyone else, nobody says shit, you know, especially if the person they're being racist to is white. I mean, I guess the age-old saying, karma's a bitch. But why is my generation paying for what 2 to 3 generations before me did? You know? Why am I paying for my ancestors' mistakes? That's kind of unfair. But guess what? That's life.
You get a riot. You get a riot. What's interesting to me about this clip is it highlights the full 360 that some people have done when it comes to the issue of racial segregation. If it wasn't clear, apparently it's fine now. Across the globe, segregation has been widely criticized and continues to be criticized today, as the majority of people view it as a serious cultural injustice. So observing its self-imposed resurgence is leaving a lot of us feeling very confused. Because segregation is bad. Well, yes, but actually no. The idea of separating white and black students, or in the very least banning white students from particular college community spaces, is not new. Universities across the Western world have barred white students from clubs, events, dorms, rec spaces, and even workout areas. In 2015, a British university students' union banned white people and men from an event to promote equality.
Wait, there's the tea. Hold up. There's the tea. Oh yeah, that's nice and hot. You can literally see the steam coming out of the cup. Alright, take the tea bags out. Oh look, you can see the steam waffling. Anger after white people and men are banned from anti-racism rally at British University by its own student union diversity officer. Okay, now, not only is it now hypocritical, but extremely ironic. You're sitting there doing a protest rally at your British university on anti-racism while being racist towards white people. And they don't fail. They really don't fail when it comes to being racist, but they fail to see the hypocrisy and the irony in that. Like, the irony and the hypocrisy is lost on these assholes. That's good tea. It's hot. Hot tea. Tea is good for you. It's got antioxidants and yeah. Plus, I mean, if you're drinking the tea out of a badass coffee mug like this, I mean, come on. It's a giant skull of all things. Like, that's metal as fuck. Like, this would be the most metalist way to drink tea. Just, now. You know, I feel like a metal song about drinking tea. Drinking tea, to give you antioxidants. Oh, drinking hot tea. Stoop the bag in the water. Heat it up. Hot water. Antioxidants. Ow. Hot tea. Sip it from the cup, sip it from the cup, sip it from the cup. Sip it from the cup. Hot tea. I don't know where that was going. A metal song about drinking hot tea. In fact, I'm going to scooch a couple things forward here so I can set the cup down. Take another sip. That's good tea. It's a little hot though. I'm going to let that cool off. But yes, back to the video.
Students' Union banned white people and men from an event to promote equality. Ah yes, nothing says equality quite like banning people.
No shit, Sherlock. Nothing screams racial equality like saying, you're white, you contribute to these problems, that's why we're banning you. So you know what fixes racism? More racism. I'm being sarcastic. I am being so fucking sarcastic, it's not even funny, bruh. Starting to warm up again, and take these coats off. You know, and I guarantee you if the races were flipped, we'd never hear the end of it. We really wouldn't. We really wouldn't, YouTube.
In 2016, students at Claremont colleges refused to live with white people. One student said that people of color are allowed to create safe POC-only spaces It is not reverse racism or discriminatory, it is self-preservation. Self-preservation from what? White guys who think ketchup is spicy? I know, more your overall inability to dance.
Oh yeah, that stereotype that white people can't dance. That's funny. Yeah, in 2016, there was a group of students at a campus college that flat out refused to live in the same dormitory as white folks because they wanted self-preservation. Okay, it's not self-preservation, that's called self-segregation. Like, has the fucking planet gone mad? You know what I'm saying? That's what I have to wonder. How do we go from the racial bullshit in the 1950s and 60s to now they want to be separated from the whites? I don't get this. I'm confused. Am I the only one who's confused on this? We went from the 1950s and 60s where black people were told you have to sit in the back of the bus, you have to have separate bathrooms, separate this, separate that. And they're like, we're tired of it, we're going to change that. So they change it, which is fucking awesome. They got their rights, hell fucking yeah. But we go from that to now they want to be segregated. In 2016, what? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Jesus fucking Christ. Imagine for that statement how they needed a safe space from all other races. People would call him a racist and a snowflake. That's what they'd be called. That's exactly what they'd be called. Don't bullshit me, you know I'm right. They'd be like, what a bunch of fucking racist snowflakes.
Other examples include a private college in California hosting a non-whites allowed pool party. Another American university created a cafe as a sanctuary for non-whites. A college in Washington hosted a No White People Day. This college was...
Wait. What? Okay, you want to create... Alright. You want to have a separate cafe for blacks? You want to... all that crap? Like, really? There are universities all over the world who are creating these cafes for their colleges, these hangouts, you know. Like, and now you got colleges having things like a no white day. A no white day. What's next? Are you going to say snow is racist because it's white? What if the snow's yellow? That might be sarcasm at its finest, but I'm telling you right now, dude. That's some horse shit. A no white day? Okay, could you imagine for one fucking second if the university that pulled that also had a no women day? Oh my god. Women everywhere would be like, that's sexist. If they would have used any other race besides us whiteys, they would have been called out on their racism so quickly. But have a no white day and it's like, hey, cool. Everyone other than the whites are happy about it. And South Park did an awesome job explaining the racism towards white people in these modern times with the South Park characters, the white family. If you watch South Park, you know the reference I'm making. Nobody cares about the whites. Sure, blame the whites. I remember getting a little chuckle out of that YouTube. Just a little chuckle like, fucking South Park telling it like it is. Oh.
Especially thoughtful because they even had anti-racist workshops available for all white folks and people who do not identify as POC.
Oh, yes. Universities even go so far as to host anti-racist workshops for white people and people who do not identify as people of color. You know what? Segregation has gotten so bad in this fucking world. Segregation has gotten so bad in this world that we're now segregating anti-racist workshops. Think about that for a second, YouTube. Doesn't that just make your fucking head explode? Like, what? Yeah, racism in this world has gotten so bad, we're now segregating anti-racist workshops, seminars, classes, etc. Which, okay, racism is a part of our history, whether you like it or not. So I can imagine why they might segregate that at the very least. You know, if you got a bunch of black people and a bunch of white people sitting in the same room and they talk about racism in this country, oh wait. Especially with how bad things are getting. They could be worse, you know. They could be. But like, two wrongs don't make a right. And I kind of see why they do that at least. Because I feel like the racial tension would only get worse if you, I don't know. Like, if you cannot host a workshop class on anti-racism with every race in the classroom without someone getting offended, then we have a problem in our society. We really, truly do.
Oh, thank you, because without that, I guess none of us would know not to keep slaying. Sydney, don't say what I think you're gonna say. Say what? I was going to talk about slaying discrimination. Why are you such a racist? But overall, self-segregation seems to be socially acceptable and in a lot of cases pretty well received. But like most things, this is not a new concept. As it turns out, black separatism and black nationalism are two fairly similar ideas that cropped up in response to white racism. Both concepts more or less refer to forming separate institutions or even a separate nation for black people. A leading example of a black nationalist group is the Nation of Islam, led by Louis Farrakhan, who has continued to espouse the group's core belief that white people are inherently evil and that they're blue-eyed devils.
What was this guy's name? Louis Farrakhan. Apparently, according to Louis Farrakhan, all white people are the blue-eyed devils. Joke's on you, dude. I have brown eyes that go red sometimes.
Led by Louis Farrakhan, who has continued to espouse the group's core belief that white people are inherently evil and that they're blue-eyed devils. Well, really, the joke's on you guys, because my eyes are brown. You see, the demonic devil bit comes from me being a female, not from being white. Now, obviously, many of these black nationalists and black separatist groups are on the extreme end of things, but there is absolutely no shortage of them. And I thoroughly enjoy how these hate groups are conveniently left out of any and all discussion about supremacy in the...
Yeah. And I really hate to go down this rabbit hole, but we're going to do it. And I gotta say this next part of the video as delicately as I can, without, you know, but the idea of, okay, you don't want to offend anybody, that's unheard of. Like, everyone's offended. You have these black nationalist groups who spew hatred towards white folks, and nobody says a word. But then you have white supremacist nationalist groups spreading hatred towards black people, And people are quick to jump down their throat and say that's racist and untolerated. You know, if it's not okay for us whites to do it, it shouldn't be okay for black people to do it either. Like, it's one thing if you want to celebrate your culture and take pride in that, cool. But if you're spreading hatred towards white people using a black nationalist group as a cover for it, you know, that's not cool. You know? I believe Martin Luther King Jr. said it best. Do not judge a man by the color of his skin, but judge a man by his actions. You know, and that's just, yeah, that's the best way to put that without offending too many people, you know.
The United States. Interestingly, a few celebrated historical black leaders have more or less agreed with some of these ideas in one way or another. For example, in 1963, Malcolm X gave a speech at the University of California, Berkeley, in which he outlined the philosophy of black nationalism as promoted by the Nation of Islam, and declared racial separatism as the best approach to the problems facing black America, which
So Malcolm X makes this speech about how separatism will save their culture, etc. You literally have a bunch of black people in the 60s and 50s fighting for racial equality, trying to end racial segregation, and then you have Malcolm X over here who's like, no, those guys are wrong, we gotta be segregated. And it's just like, what? Hold up. You got a bunch of black people who are fighting for the end of racial segregation, and then you have a black dude by the name of Malcolm X who's sitting there saying segregation's the answer. I'm confused. I am legitimately confused at this point. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, this is a really touchy subject. You get a lot of people who get divided on these issues. And when you're dealing with a touchy subject like this, you have to be ever so delicate with it, because you can... This video is going to get so many dislikes. I already know. Like, I could post a video about cute, adorable puppies and it would still get disliked, because haters are going to hate. But I'm trying to approach this video response in the most delicate way possible, if that makes any sense.
Which feels like a very far cry from the words of Martin Luther King Jr., who gave a speech in the same year asking us to judge people based on the content of their character rather than the color of their skin.
Oh yes, this was a point, this is one of many points that I agreed with. You heard Malcolm X's speech about racial segregation being the answer, and it was a far cry to what Martin Luther King Jr. said, which was judge someone on their actions, not on the color of their skin. Exactly. Freaking exactly.
So yeah, there's that. Now, in trying to explain this self-imposed segregation, researchers and writers seem to all end up at the same conclusion. It is a response to white racism and the behavior of white people. So far, if you've been keeping up, we're apparently responsible for racism and climate change and slavery and war and Donald Trump.
Wrong.
Proved over and over again.
Wrong.
But frankly, this conclusion isn't really all that surprising.
Yep, if you've been keeping up with the Sydney Watson videos and my video responses, white people are blamed for everything. Slavery, climate change, racism, sexism, Donald Trump, etc., etc. And before you go and blame white people for slavery, guess what? At one point or another, white people were slaves too. Oh yeah, I already mentioned that, didn't I? In this video. I'm pretty sure I did. It's at that peak temperature where it's still hot, but it's cooled down enough to drink. Do you like to mix your tea flavors? Are you just plain old one flavor per cup, or do you like to mix and match your teas? I like to mix and match my teas. So like if I have like black tea, I'll mix it with green tea. Yep. That's my favorite tea combination right there. Black and green tea mixed together. It's a delicious combination. I can have like black tea with ginseng and green tea with antioxidants, and then yeah, you'd be set. You can still see the steam coming out of it. Boo-haw.
Considering that the majority of Black Americans feel they've experienced racism or discrimination, they view being Black as central to their identity, and they feel that they are treated unfairly in a range of institutional settings. Now, self-segregation happens all over, in neighborhoods, on college campuses, in friendships, in the workplace, and so on. In fact, a concept called the Black self-segregation hypothesis attempts to explain why Black people prefer to live in Black-only communities. And while we know that this is caused in part because of racial income differences, racial prejudice, and housing market discrimination, other researchers have suggested that America's housing segregation for most middle-class Afro-Americans is largely a voluntary phenomenon.
Yes, there are some Black people who feel comfortable just living in all Black neighborhoods. And sometimes that's not even the case. Sometimes, like Sydney Watson said, it has a lot to do with income, you know, their job situation, which is true for a lot of people, not just African Americans, but white people, anyone, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on your job, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, there are some people who just choose to live with their own kind. And, well, that's how they do, I guess. Like, oh geez, Cobra got the guitar out, huh? What do we got here? We'll get into the guitar playing after the video. Yeah. Big shocker, he plays acoustic too.
When it comes to housing, it's not to say that racism and discrimination don't play a part, but they certainly don't make up the whole picture. I don't know why researchers spend so much time trying to answer these questions. I can answer it for you. Everyone's just a giant jerk. But neighborhoods aren't the only area where self-segregation takes place. Like the education system, for example, which is...
Yes. Self-segregation happens on two different ways. One, it's forced because of racism and 2, by choice. And I agree, like, why are researchers trying to find the answers to these questions when the answer is simple? People are just jerks to each other. Yeah, that's about the truth of it.
Is an issue unto itself that we aren't discussing in this video because there are too many factors and not enough time. So, sorry about that. However, I did find one really interesting study that says that the preference for racial homogeny starts at school. The researchers found that black kids who self-segregate, who only hang out with other blacks, are more popular than black kids who have white friends. And then they grow up to be this kid. You smug, lumpy, mean lady. For the white students, on the other hand, self-segregating actually hurts their popularity. And in the end, the research concluded that black children are rewarded socially for avoiding white kids.
What? Now, ain't that a kicker? According to research done by some scientists, self-segregation starts as early as elementary school. Whereas if black kids self-segregate and only hang out with black kids their own age, they're a lot more popular with their peers. Whereas if they try to make a couple of white friends, their popularity goes down. But with white kids, if white kids self-segregate, they're not as popular. But if a white kid makes friends with a black kid, they're a lot more popular, is basically what that says. And I'm like, a lot of that has to do with how we raise our children. Oh, Cobra said it. A lot of it has to do with how we raise our children. Now, if your parents grew up being treated a certain way, you know, it's understandable. Like, if the parents of a black kid grew up in a more racially divided time, being segregated way worse than today's youth ever will be, then of course their view of white people is going to be negative. You know, you can't blame them for that. If you were in their shoes, you'd feel the same way. But the thing you have to realize is, even though you grew up in a different time, you're not going to help change things by raising your kid to be racist towards other people, regardless of skin color. And that's just the truth of it. That's just the truth of it, YouTube. Yep. If you don't like it, I don't care. If you do like this kind of video, please subscribe for more. Yep. Because, yeah, we're changing lives here, man. Changing perspectives, you know? So yeah, subscribe to the KINGCOBRAJFS channel. Casper's favorite autistic. I'm just kidding. But anyways, 1 cup of tea later, I'm gonna wash this out. On a side note, if you follow me on Facebook, then you know I had a sandwich earlier. The sandwich consisted of Texas toast, which was toasted up, and bacon and burger grease. And then on top of the bottom bun On the inside, I put some red salmon and a over easy egg on top of that red salmon, and I season that over easy egg with some Payne County Rust all meat seasoning. That ended up being a really tasty sandwich. You know, stacked with calories and plenty of protein to get my day started. Also, I have to pee because apparently tea goes right through you. That being said, segregation and racism can piss off. Oh yeah. Yeah, this bar of soap is just about done. I still got plenty of it left. Oh yeah, this is the soap I rock with. Bond Tactical Soap. I wash with it. It smells amazing. And it's black, which is goth as Also, a shout out to It's Black Friday. Congratulations on getting a fiance. I'm very happy for you. Hell yeah, girl. Get it. Well, hey, it's Black Friday. Yeah. It's black. It looks all goth and spooky. Ooh. And you can get some soap for your fiance that'll have him smelling really good. Oh yeah, I'd recommend it. If you want to get your own bar of tactical soap, then I'll put a link in the description box below where you can get 10% off using coupon code KINGCOBRA. Yes, sir. Now, just to show you right quick what a full-size bar looks like. A full-sized bar of tactical soap. This right here is a brand new pack. It's the Durban scent, which smells really good as well. Got like a nice cedar and hints of lemon. Really nice stuff. Let's see if we can, there we go. And like I said, it's a full-size bar of soap. This soap has not been used. It's brand new. So when you get the tactical soap, you see right here, it's a decent sized bar. And these people over at the Grondike Soap Company will have you smelling sexy for your lady friend in no time. The Maverick smells really good too. I haven't really smelt the Bond Musk yet, but these also make great gifts for the men in your life. You know, maybe your brother, your dad, your grandfather, you know. This is a soap made by men for men. And it smells really good. So yeah, if you want to get your hands on some tactical soap and you want 10% off your next order, I got you. Using coupon code KINGCOBRA and going through the affiliate link that I provide below will help you on the way and on the journey to smelling freaking awesome. Oh yeah, dude, this stuff smells good. Next time I go to order some tactical soap, I want to order some of that Bond Musk as well. And, you know, just, yeah. Get a couple of different trifecta packs. That way, you know. Oh yeah. This stuff's amazing. Yep, you'll be sitting there going, as a dude, you'll be sitting there going, what a time to be alive. And you shower, you wash your entire body with it, just like any other bar soap. Now what I'll do when I'm done is I'll put the soap back in the case that it comes in, and then I'll store it in a cool, dry place, just like it says on the back of the box. Keeps the soap fresh. And yeah, dude, you'd be hard pressed as a dude not to buy a bar. You got a big date coming up in like 2 weeks, and yeah. So yeah, there's that. Have you smell like a real man. Again, tactical soap does not guarantee you'll get laid, but it guarantees you'll smell irresistible to the ladies. And one bar of tactical soap is going to run you $11.05, depending on where you live. If you live in the United States, you know, they do worldwide shipping too, I reckon, so there's that. And it's worth every penny. I never get tired of hearing it. That goth cowboy smells good. Oh, it's a confidence booster, dude. I have Asperger's syndrome, so sometimes I struggle with the ladies. And wearing tactical soap has allowed me to be a lot more confident, you know, and it helps me smell good for the ladies. So, yeah, man, I'd recommend it.
Now, it's entirely possible that this perception and behavior bleeds into adulthood and everyday life.
We're just going to intellectually denigrate and scold you for the abuse of your white privilege.
Now, in an effort to prove how racist white people are, several people wrote about the results of a survey on a...
Yeah, and in an effort to prove just how racist white people are, someone wrote an article. 75% of white people don't have any non-white friends. But if you remember the study that was done that Sydney Watson talked about, that said kids who are black become less popular by having white friends, and that's why. That's why a lot of white people don't have black friends half the time, is because of that bullshit right there. The other half is because they're racist, and the other half of it is because, what if you live in a state that's primarily white? Think about it. Think about it for just 1 second. Think about it. If you live in a city that is predominantly white, of course you're not going to have any black friends, because, you know, if you go to the big city and it's predominantly white, then chances of you having black friends, if you're white, go down. You know? Not to mention, oh, what if you live in Alaska? You know, you're out in the middle of nowhere in a log cabin. Your nearest neighbor is like 8 miles away from you. So it's like, okay, in an effort to prove how racist white people truly are, but sometimes the odds are stacked against us, you know? That's just how it is. If you live in a society where kids are conditioned at an early age, 3rd, 4th graders, they're barely even old enough to grasp the concept of racism, but they truly don't understand it, you know? You know what I'm saying? These kids are barely old enough to walk and shit on their own, just barely. They're barely old enough to be able to sit at the table and eat without the assistance of an adult going, "Here comes the plane." They're just barely old enough, you know? And there's so many factors going into these. It's just and you know what? Before we continue this video, I gotta play one clip. It's from a famous comedian by the name of Cat Williams. Cat Williams is one of my favorite African American comedians. That dude is seriously funny. Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, you know. Some funny motherfuckers, dude. Cat Williams, you need some white friends.
Here are some matching videos.
Thank you, Google. Appreciate that. Alright.
I'm enjoying.
Okay, warning. Cat Williams uses strong language. So if you're offended by cussing, don't care.
In my motherfucking life, that's all I'm saying. I advise you to do the same. Do shit that make you happy. Go out and get you some white friends. Get you some white motherfucking friends. You ain't gotta sleep with them, but you gonna need them motherfuckers. If you go to jail and call your nigga friends, these motherfuckers will interrogate you more than the goddamn police did. They had your ass on the phone. Where the fuck was you at? What the fuck was you doing? Why the fuck you ain't called me? Not your white friends. Them motherfuckers will be there by the time you hang up the phone, and they'll be madder than you. Just what the fuck did he do? Murdered who? Look, I fucking known him for 2 weeks. He wouldn't fucking do something like that. Gotta love white people. I don't give a fuck what you say. White people are friendly. You can call them motherfuckers up at 3 o'clock in the morning with the wrong number, and they won't even be mad at you.
Okay, Cat Williams, you're a funny motherfucker, but let me tell you something. White people are friendly until you piss them off. And that's true for a lot of people. Most people are friendly. Most people are just trying, you know.
Hello? No, I'm sorry. No Shaquita here. Well, what number did you dial? No, it's a 9, not a 7. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, call me back. We'll figure this thing out. Gotta love white people. It's Thanks to white people, we know anything about wild animals. You realize that niggas have never in the history of niggerdom discovered a wild animal. Not one, not a wild pit bull, nothing. Because we too cautious. Niggas don't discover shit. We don't get close enough to discover. Niggas take no chances. That what nigga, is that a Rottweiler or a bear? Nigga, go. White people, though, let me say this. Y'all need some nigga friends. Get you some nigga friends. Just don't ever call them your nigga friends. Don't ever. That'll fuck the relationship up. There's my nigger friend. You guys say it all the time. White people, you need your nigga friends so they can tell you when shit is not appropriate. First of all, white people, please stop putting them little blue leashes on your children. Please stop doing that. That is only entertainment for niggas. That's all that is. We be excited then the motherfucker just look at her, look at her. That's why white kids grow up and kill everybody in the goddamn school, because you done treated them like a German shepherd ever since they was 3. They be in the store like, oh, I want
Yeah, that's about the half of it. Oh, that is about the half of it. Oh, that was... Oh, man. Cat Williams, man. Oh, Cat Williams is funny. We had to take a break from the seriousness of the video and just get her a chuckle on. Like, hey, here's Cat Williams telling... We got Martin Luther King Jr. and Cat Williams both saying, hey, hey, hey. You got Martin Luther King Jr. saying, do not judge a man based on the color of his skin, but rather on his character. And you got Cat Williams saying, y'all need to get yourself some white friends. And white people, y'all need to get yourself some black friends. So you can know when shit's not okay to say. Yes.
American values by the Public Religion Research Institute. It found that
the Public Religion Institute? The Public Religion Institute. You know what? This is what really confuses me. How come we have separation of church and state, but we're allowed to have Christian universities? That don't make no goddamn sense if you ask me. How the fuck does that work? 2 + 2 = 4. Why is that? Because God said so. Oh, okay, well... But what if it equals 3? It does not equal 3, it equals 4. Okay. Like, we get told you're not allowed to pray in school. Okay, you know what? Fuck all that. Fuck all of that, dude. You know what? If we're allowed to have Christian universities, then we should allow religion in schools. And as long as students and teachers aren't going out of their way to harass one another with their beliefs, as long as they're not being a dick about it, who the fuck cares? That's all I'm saying. Like, you're going to tell me, though, that if a teacher has a cross around their neck because they're Christian, they have to keep it tucked in because they might offend one of their students. Oh. But somehow we're allowed to have Christian universities. I mean, there's a lot of holes in that logic, you know, that's... I do my own religion, I got my own thing going, and it's like, even I can't wrap my head around that one. I'm just like, wait, what? Even I'm sitting there going, that makes no damn sense.
Fully 3/4, 75% of white Americans report that the network of people with whom they discuss important matters is entirely white, with no minority presence. That one's easy to explain. We all like to sit together and reflect the sun. But jokes aside, this actually makes sense to me, because at least 62% of the American population is white, and there are states with up to a 94% white population.
Exactly. If 62% of the American population is white, and then there are states that have a 99% population of white people, and you want to turn around and say, white people are racist because they don't have any black friends. Cracker, get the fudge out of here with that pickle licking BS, man. I'm just like, really? Yeah, but you look at the factors that I pointed out earlier on how, you know, how kids who are black try to befriend white kids are less popular than befriending people from their own culture. And then if white people try to be friends with black people, they get popularity, but if they self-segregate with themselves, they lose their popularity. So, what the fudge, man?
So realistically, those people probably never come into contact with someone who isn't pasty, who can dance, who doesn't think ketchup is spicy. You see, they live in cabins in the wilderness with no human contact, and the only other person that they see on the reg is their white neighbor Tony, who brings them horse meat or something. Why are you like this? On the other hand, approximately 2/3, or 65%, of black Americans report having a core social network that is composed entirely of people who are also black. Given that black Americans make up just under 13% of the population, this kind of surprised me, because I figured that they would have, you know, more white people around them and a greater opportunity of befriending us. Listen, being friends with us white people is actually fine. You know, we have a rich culture of never wearing enough sunscreen and saying things like, Zumba is fun. Now, despite the fact that I really couldn't find a wide range of research into why people self-segregate, one reason that is very clear is it is a response to the perceived need for self-preservation when it comes to racism.
Oh yes. Now we come to a question. Why do people self-segregate? Why do people self-segregate? It's because they want to preserve their culture in the attempt to fight racism. But the irony of it, if you're self-segregating to preserve your culture to fight racism, but you yourself are a racist towards other people who don't have the same skin color, you're a walking oxymoron. Literally. Like, it's cool, okay? If you want to preserve your culture, be proud of your heritage, that's cool. Just don't be a dick about it. Like, if you want to have self-segregation and you want to preserve your culture, okay, that's fine. Just don't be a dick about it. Just don't be a dick about it.
White people are racist. No, you're...
Ashlea Shackelford. Another fat cunt. All white people are racist, according to her. Okay, Ashlea Shackelford. Fuck you. You fat cunt. With your billboards reading all... Not only a billboard, just a poster board, I should say, saying how all white people are racist. Yet, this is why we have the issues in our society. Real talk, not trying to be racist, but a question to Ashlea Shackelford. All white people are racist, huh? Okay. What if a big fat white woman was standing up with a poster board that said all black people eat chicken and drink grape juice and smoke Newports. Seriously, what if a white fat bitch was sitting there with that on a poster board holding this seminar calling y'all's lazy and shit? You wouldn't stand for that. You'd be like, excuse me? So if it's not okay for white people to make assumptions about black people, then black people shouldn't be allowed to make assumptions about white people. That's called racial equality. Ashlea Shackelford. All white people are racist, huh? Like maybe Ashlea Shackelford and the other fat bitch at the University of Virginia, they can just go out in the town, find themselves a white man with a humongous dick bigger than their last boyfriend who treats them right, and they can have themselves a little three-way and get it out of their system. And then maybe they won't have shitty opinion on white people. I don't know. Like Ashlea Shackelford sitting there saying how all white people are racist. Honey, you need some white dick in you. You need a stir stick for that coffee. You sure do. A big fat, yeah, you do. Get yourself a white boy with a huge dick and shut the fuck up with that crap. Oh, but I don't think any white person would fuck you. Not because they're racist, but because you have a negative attitude. You know? I know a lot of white dudes who'd fuck black women, myself included. I've seen a lot of attractive black women. But the only reason I wouldn't get with Ashlea Shackelford is because she's kind of chunky and she's a bitch. Okay, sitting there saying how all white people are racist. Fuck you. You fat, smelly cunt. Oh look, another piece of cunt. Oh. Another piece of cunt calling, yeah. Oh, that's mean. Because as I said before, if you call yourself a person of color, then you have to realize, okay, you're black, so history's been really unkind to you folks. And if you spent years learning about your ancestors' oppression and all the racist crap white people have done to you, what gives you the right to give them the same treatment? That's the real question. You know, that's like literally, like I said, the equivalent of a female complaining about sexism and what pigs men are, but then turning around and being a complete cunt and a sexist whore to the men she complains about. Yeah. Like, literally, racist black people are the equivalent of sexist feminists. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Always gonna be racist, actually.
The bottom line...
Always gonna be racist, actually? Oh. You know, and you know what? This is the problem with it. Ashlea Shackelford, I'm guessing she's an older woman. So for her growing up, she's faced racial oppression because of the color of her skin. And maybe discrimination because she's a heavier set gal. But I'm telling you right now, that's bullshit. No, this is just like when you see feminazis going on television. Some of these women are in their 50s and 60s, sitting there bad-mouthing men, talking about what pieces of shit we are. And it's because women back then were treated a lot worse. And what you're seeing in today's modern times is women and minorities have more rights. They're protected to some extent with civil liberties and such. So for people, women and minorities 60, 50 years ago who are still around, they're jealous. They're freaking jealous. They're like, where was this shit when I was growing up? So instead of being happy that, hey, you know what? We have more rights. This is awesome. It's, nope, let's pick on whites. Let's pick on men. Because now it's our turn to give them what they earned. Bastards. Crackers. Sir, I prefer the term saltine American. And yes, we do like cheese. POSAs, people of Saltine American. I identify as a POSA, people of Saltine American. Or POC, people of Cracker. Yeah, I'm a POC too, people of Cracker. Yeah. And black people being racist towards white people makes me as a POC feel uncomfortable. A person of Cracker. Oh, I'm being a smartass in this video. Yes, I am. Oh, God damn it. Oh. Oh. Okay, back to the response video.
In here is that segregationists from the 60s would be getting a really good chuckle about how we're allowing and even encouraging segregation to happen all over again.
Exactly. People from the 50s and the 60s would be getting a real chuckle out of this. They'd be like, wait, you're allowing segregation to happen again and you're encouraging it? Oh my God, this is funny. Oh yeah, people from the 50s and 60s would be laughing their asses off right now. They'd be like, ha 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 ha.
Stop that. All of this separating and labeling based on race is one of the biggest contributing factors in the division in America today.
No shit. All this separation and labeling is exactly why we have the problems we have in America today.
And sure, it makes for a great foundation for race baiters, the media, and politicians.
It does. All the separation, the segregation, and the labeling, it makes for a great time for the media, for politicians, for race baiters, for people who are overly PC and like, see, that's racist. Yeah, you know the people I'm talking about, the assholes that are just so politically correct, it's annoying. They're about as offensive as the people who aren't politically correct enough. People of Cracker. Oh my God. I just thought of that on the spot. That's brilliant. Oh my God. That needs to... Hold up. I should put that on a t-shirt. That's funny as fuck. Oh. And guess what? This is why I like Casper. It's not only the town I was born in, But Casper, Wyoming has a nice diversity of people. You don't just see whites, okay? We have blacks, whites, Asians, Mexicans, Indians, Vietnamese. We have a nice, healthy, diverse culture here in Casper. I think it's badass. Straight up.
But it's not so great for the overall general population. Part of my problem with almost all of this is the fact that so many of these communities are completely unable to practice what they preach.
No shit! That is exactly the most frustrating part of this whole situation, YouTube. A lot of these so-called colleges and communities are getting together and talking about how they want to end racism while they're doing nothing to end it. In fact, they're encouraging it. Now, I can understand being uncomfortable with white people because of your people's history with white people, but outside of that, slavery is illegal. It is. So, yeah. And you live in a society where racism towards white people is encouraged. So, ooh-wee.
College campuses want to eliminate racism with anti-white racism. They want to promote equality with inequality.
Pretty much. You got college campuses wanting to end racism by using anti-white racism, by promoting equality, by not having it. It's like, okay, if you stuck your hand on a burning stovetop and you're like, ow, fuck, I burnt my hand, that hurts, I'm going to do it again. Ow, fuck, that hurts, I'm going to do it again. Why complain about the problem if you're only going to contribute to it? That's what I don't get.
They want white people to be friends with minorities, when it actually kind of seems like minorities really aren't all that interested in that, but kick white people out of the room at every opportunity.
Thank you. Exactly. These universities, these people, these colleges, they want white people to be friends with minorities, but minorities are not interested. And then as soon as we try to fight for racial equality alongside everyone else, we get kicked out of the room, kicked out of the chair. We get told, you're being a bigot, hashtag check your privilege because you're white.
Real talk, how are we supposed to participate at the table when we aren't even allowed to take a seat? What?
No shit. Exactly. 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 How are white people supposed to be friends with minorities? How are white people supposed to fight for racial equality if we're not allowed? You get told that's how you're supposed to be, but we're not allowed. And it's not that we're not allowed, it's just that there are some, not all minorities, okay? Some minorities just don't want to be friends with white people. That's just how it is. But you know what? I have several friends that are black. Shout out to my buddy Fred, by the way. You know, and none of them are racist towards white people. I'm just saying, YouTube, this is bullshit. I thought to myself, okay, we had a half-black president. He was white and black for 8 years. You think this would have ended racial tension? And then it did for a while. But then as soon as Trump took office, it got worse. And that's not Trump's fault. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Okay? Trump himself might be a racist, but Trump is not responsible for the actions of others. There, I said it. Trump cannot control what other people do. But it just becomes convenient to blame Trump because that's how politics works for the other side. Instead of talking about the issues, let's blame the other side. That's how politics works today. And this is why a lot of people do not like discussing politics. It's because people can't be mature about it. Let's talk about the issues. What's really going on? No, let's not do that. Let's just blame the other side and call a bunch of names. Well, you fucking libtards. Yeah, well, you retarded Republicans.
What these people don't realize is that the more that they break down groups into smaller and smaller minority subsets, all of whom have different rights and are placed within the hierarchy of oppression and victimhood, the harder it becomes to propagate ideas like equality and anti-racism. Because...
Exactly. The more you allow these groups to self-segregate, the harder it is to fight for racial equality and to fight on issues like anti-racism. It's kind of hard to fight anti-racism fights if you're allowing minorities and whites to self-segregate.
There's always a series of caveats to explain why racism or oppression or what have you is okay in one context against one group of people and not another. And as it stands, it seems that there will always be a justification for why racism against white people is okay and how it doesn't actually even register as racism. In the end, if people want to exacerbate the racial divide, then self-segregation is absolutely the way to do it. Now I open the floor to you. What do you all think? Is self-segregation necessary? Does it actually help anything? Do people even have the right to self-segregate? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you like the video, hit subscribe and the thumbs up button. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. Just be respectful about it. And I will see you guys next time.
Oh, righty, YouTube. As I said before, I think people have the right to self-segregate because if you're going to segregate races in general, self-segregation is a lot better than segregating someone else. That is actually a very fair point. Do people have the right to self-segregate? Yes, as long as they're not being dicks about it. As long as they're not being dicks about it, you know, then who cares? You're not breaking the law. You're not going out of your way to personally harm or harass anyone. Then who cares? You know, you want to self-segregate as long as you're not hurting someone else or, you know, going out of your way to harass somebody else. You're not breaking the law. You're not being openly just racist as fuck. Then who cares? You know, you want to self-segregate and do it peacefully? Fine. Go right ahead. You know? Oh look, he's got the acoustic guitar. Ha ha! How long is this video? An hour long. Major shocker, right? It's a crazy world we live in. We got oceans filled with plastic. It's fantastic. People fighting wars in other countries over oil. Yep. And if you want to buy some of that awesome tactical soap that I talked about in the video that I plugged periodically throughout the video, I'll put the link in the description box below, as well as the coupon code, and you can get 10% off your first order. Have you smelling sexy for the ladies. And unlike racism itself, tactical soap works on all men. It does. Any man can wear tactical soap. Any woman who wants to smell good for her girlfriend can wear tactical soap. So if you're a dude and you want to smell good for the ladies, guaranteed, you go out to the club or you're going out to the bar, you know, then I would recommend it. Because tactical soap will make you smell good to any woman you walk by, guaranteed. Yippers. Yeah, playing guitar is going to be difficult until the cut on my finger heals up, but that's alright, it'll heal up. But yes, YouTube, if you like these kinds of videos, subscribe for more. Hit the ding that notification bell. Ding. Yeah, ding that notification bell. Ding that notification bell. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more awesome content. Now, the title of this video is called Screw Racism and Segregation. Yep. Yes, sirree. Yeah, my guitar playing's not going to be as good with one of my fretting fingers wrapped up, but give it a couple of weeks, that cut will heal up nicely. Yes, sir. Anyways, YouTube, thank you for watching the video, and I will definitely catch you cool cobras later.